but do you think you guys go on in that period to win 3 Stanley Cups without that hit?
Has Claude ever apologized, number one? But number two, especially following the documentary.
Red Wings and Avalanche. And a big part of that rivalry joins us now. Unrivaled, the greatest Detroit sports rivalry in the history of Detroit sports, certainly in the last 50, 60 years. Red Wings and Avalanche. The documentary aired yesterday. 2 hours of goosebumps for me.
Outstanding.
Unbelievable. And a big part of that rivalry joins us now. The great Kris Draper, 4-time Stanley Cup champion, current director of amateur scouting. Kris, thanks so much for the time. How you doing on this Monday?
Drapes.
Hi, guys. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me. I just got the tail end of Johnny Wharton. Obviously, unbelievable. I got to admit, I've never heard my injury described the way he described it on Unrivaled. It was very powerful. I knew, obviously, I know my injuries, but when they start talking about it like that, I'd never heard someone describe my injuries like that.
How did you feel, Kris? I mean, reading the injuries and then, basically painting a picture for everybody. I thought one of the powerful, imagine putting your cheekbone against the corner of a granite countertop and then having somebody come from behind you and hit you into the boards. I mean, that sight, that feeling is unsettling.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I'd never heard it described like that. I thought ESPN did a fantastic job. Obviously, it was, like you said, from 96 to 2002, it was, the most hated and heated rivalry in all of sports. And it was incredible for our organization. And obviously, you can hear Colorado talking about it from their perspective and their organization as well. But, it was probably, yesterday watching it, I was with my wife, my son, who's 20. He's obviously knows, all about the rivalry and everything. But I had my 14-year-old daughter, Cameron, watching it with me. And, she saw the documentary, The Russian Five, and she's obviously heard us talk about it. But I think, when she saw that and then heard that and then saw all the, the pictures and the videos of what her dad went through, it was different watching it with my 14-year-old, because she obviously knew about it, but not to the extent of it. But overall, it was incredible to be able to watch it, with my family and just hearing and listening to the Red Wing fans respond to it. It just shows you, what an unbelievable team we had, and really for everybody back then that was part of, that journey and that rivalry. It's something that they'll never forget. And it's, like I said, ESPN did a fantastic job and caught all angles and all perspectives on both sides of the organizations.
Hey, Drapes, thanks for coming on. Happy belated birthday, man. 51 years young. You're looking better and better every time I see you. You're the pickleball champ, by the way. We got to ask you about your pickleball exploits. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But what do you think of Adam Foote saying, hey, it didn't start when Lemieux hit Draper. It started when Kazi hit me and my face into the boards.
It's amazing that, well, I think Brian Burke summed it up pretty good when I think he called it a razor cut that Adam had. So I don't even really need to comment on that. You have, from their side, it's 10 to 20 stitches, and you have John Wharton pulling out a pad to go over my injuries. That one kind of surprised me. I got to be honest. That one kind of surprised me.
He's bitter
when I heard that. But you know what? It's like I said. It's from their perspective, they're gonna look at it, from a Colorado perspective, and obviously, I guess the rest of the hockey world sees it differently.
Well, now that we have you on, Draper, I got to ask you, because watching the documentary, you see Claude, and he seems somewhat remorseful in the documentary, but now that we finally have you on, I got to ask you, has Claude ever apologized, number one, but number two, especially following the documentary?
Well, he has not. That's, and you know what, I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. I'm not angry. at all. We went on. You look at, obviously '96 was tough for our organization and for our team. We had 62 wins. We were a favorite to win the Stanley Cup, and obviously when you look at, for me, the '94 season of how it ended against San Jose, '95 getting swept by New Jersey, then obviously '96 losing in the Western Conference Finals, there's a lot of question marks with our team, and I think in the end that was probably the biggest thing. Yeah, the hit and the injury was one thing, but we lost. We lost in the Western Conference Finals when we were a favorite to win the Stanley Cup, and weren't able to come through. And then everyone starts questioning us, and then we come back for training camp. We obviously make the big trade for Brendan Shanahan, and then you look at what happened from from '97 to 2002. We go on to win 3 Stanley Cups. Absolutely incredible. And so, how things played out, for myself and for the Detroit Red Wing and Hockey Town and our organization, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything that I had to go through. If that was something, that kind of rallied us and kind of we dug in and embraced one another and came together as a team, and a lot of things had to happen throughout the '96-'97 season for us to win, and then I'm good with it. So it's been 25 years. It's incredible of how captivating the release was last night. And then obviously just hearing about, my phone is still, getting text messages, and we have a lot of blasts from the past from people reaching out and saying, man, that was absolutely incredible to watch that. And people are, and I'm sure all of us are getting the same text, thanking us for those times, those years, those special moments, those Stanley Cups, the memories that we created, not only for ourselves, but for, the entire state of Michigan and any single Detroit Red Wing hockey fan. It was an incredible time to be a Red Wing fan, and it was an unbelievable run for us that brought 3 Stanley Cups.
Kris, just to follow up on that, this is probably an impossible question to answer because we'll just never know. But do you think you guys go on in that period to win 3 Stanley Cups without that hit, without you facing what you had to face and everybody rallying around?
It's a great question. I have to be honest. I think the one thing is, every team that wins the Stanley Cup, there's probably a moment that they can go through, whether it's, late in the season or early in the playoffs. That's a big rallying point, for them. They face a little adversity and they come out on top. I'll just go back to a couple of years. You look at the St. Louis Blues, they were last place in January, and something happened to them. They caught, lightning in a bottle and went on to win a Stanley Cup. There was something there that, turned it around that season for the St. Louis Blues. Or you have to have a big win. You have to beat, an opponent that you hadn't beaten before. And then all of a sudden you kind of, you end up going on. You look at the Washington Capitals when they were finally able to beat the Pittsburgh Penguins, and then they go on to win a Stanley Cup. So there's always these moments, there's always these games. And I think that one on March 26th was something that was incredible, for our team and in that dressing room. That was a moment, I think that night, I'm not sure anyone really wanted to leave the dressing room that night. It was just an incredible atmosphere. It was a huge win. And that's the key thing is the win. And I can't emphasize that enough. The brawl, the fights, you name it, everything that went on was obviously, it was incredible that night at Joe Louis Arena, but we needed to win that hockey game. We hadn't beaten them. We were 0-3 against them. They were the defending Stanley Cup champions. They did have our number, coming into March 26th. And then the way that played out, you couldn't have scripted it any better. That obviously, the fight and the fights, you just go on and you just kind of watch that. And I know I had chills just watching it, reliving all that. And then all of a sudden, D-Mac goes out and scores the game-winning goal. Absolutely incredible. And yeah, I'll tell you, it was you watch Igor. I think he stick handles in a phone booth through 3 Colorado Avalanche, made an unbelievable kick out pass to Shanny, and then Shanny to Mac back door, and there he is to end it. And it's just incredible. And I think that was something, and that was a moment that really just brought our team together, and we rallied around something that was weighing on us for a long time. And I'm one of, probably the luckiest Red Wings of all time to have the greatest teammates that I had from not only from, that year in 96, 97, but all the way through. But, that was obviously something special, knowing, everyone says it, we got your back. But, that night you realize that, everyone did have your back. And that was something incredible and something that I'll never, ever forget. And thankful to, my entire team and all my teammates.
Kris Draper joins us, Unrivaled, the documentary. It's phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, ESPN Plus, you can watch it. It's even got an extra 7 minutes of footage.
And Maz was in it twice, Kris. You got to go back. Maz was in it twice.
I was standing in the hallway. I was 60 pounds lighter, standing in the hallway across from your locker room in front of the bathroom where we used to do our audio, our studios was right there. Studio P, we used to call it. PEE.
Well, certainly that's one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go back just to see you, Mac.
Thanks, buddy. You'll see Mac walking by me after he scored the winner. Anyway, Ryan asked you, could you have won those 3 cups had you not been injured the way that? I'm going to ask you, how many could you have won if, God forbid, if Vladdy doesn't get injured?
I got to be honest. That that was emotional yesterday. That was one of probably the hardest things of sitting there and watching Vladdy. It just absolutely broke my heart. It's something that we never forget. And every time we talk about the rivalry and we talk about March 26th, and then we talk about winning Stanley Cups. Vladdy was unbelievable for us, and I think I'm not sure who came. I think it was Marford who came out and said it, and basically.
Time to go.
Last call. Can you guys still see me all right?
Yeah. You're fine. You're totally fine. Yeah.
Sorry. I think Mark Crawford, he said it, saying about how good Vladimir Konstantinov and at the time was better than Nick Lidstrom. We were going to have 2 Norris Trophy winners probably for the next 10 years. So the answer is, how many cups could we have won? Obviously, we won't know, but I'll tell you that the back-to-back was something special, but we could have put together a dynasty if we had Vladimir Konstantinov. That's something, that I'm sure of. He was that good. He was really coming into his own. He was really recognizing how good he could be. I think out of, the Russian 5, I don't think one person benefited more than anyone than Vladimir Konstantinov. He was a proud Russian. He was so proud to play with his countrymen and play on the Russian 5. And he just kept getting better and better. It was every single day he was getting better and better. And he was a guy that was feared to play against. And even for us, he was feared to practice against. He would run us in practice. He didn't care. And he would just kind of look at you and say, keep your head up. He did not care. And his compete was absolutely off the charts. The most competitive player that I ever played with. And like I said, seeing Vladdy last night was heartbreaking. I was so proud to see him on that. And it's amazing that, he remembers everything that happened with Colorado and the Stanley Cups. And, to me, one of my greatest moments of all time was when Stevie got the cup, and the first thing that he did was pass the puck to Vladdy, and just that smile on his face, and then seeing Sergei go over and give Vladdy a big hug. I mean, those things just, it honestly it was very emotional to see that. And you're sad, you're heartbroken. It's everything you can think of. And like I said, our organization got robbed of, potentially, a Norris Trophy candidate for years to come. And I truly believe many more cups if we were to have Vladdy in the lineup.
I mean, just it's such a shame, too, because you do the right thing. You have a couple of drinks, you get a driver. You know what I mean? I mean, you did everything right that night, too. Kris,
Thanks,
last thing for you. I got to ask you, as part of the Red Wings organization today, watching the Avs win the cup, well, whoever it was last night hoist the cup, I know you guys are on the right track. I know it's coming. How quickly do you think Red Wing fans can get to that point again? Have their own stories being told about them in the years to come.
We need a coach first.
Well, well, we won't go there, Matt. I don't know if you realize that. Say that out loud. You know what? I think a big step for our organization was Moritz Seider winning Calder Cup. Calder Trophy the other night as Rookie of the Year. I mean, absolutely incredible, for Mo, and then certainly for our team and for our organization. And the thing that kind of, really impressed me on Mo's acceptance speech is, he's just talking about how, he wants to get better, how he wants the team to get better. And with him and Lucas Raymond, I think we have a great young core. Simon Edmondson coming over as well. So I think we have some pieces coming with some, great leadership with Dylan Larkin, Tyler Bertuzzi. We got some good core players. So we can't put a time on it. When you think about, how long Colorado was between Stanley Cups, I think it was 21 years. I think
21 years. Yep.
21 years. And they had, you look at, the
they really want you out of there.
Okay. This is like how Mac and I used to run last fall. It's been a while since I've had the lights turned on, guys. I gotta be honest.
Is Herb Brooks there?
So that's really I'm so excited for Mo. It was a big day for obviously him, and then certainly our organization as well. I think I can move around. I think there's centered lights. I think I can get us going here. There you go. Yes. I'm
That's
actually
why.
in the incredible Little Caesars lounge. If you just kind of look around,
it's beautiful.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen
awesome.
this in Belfort. Yeah. It's unreal. So I kind of took up some office space here, and to get back to my answer, it was a huge win for Moritz Seider. Lucas Raymond, was in Calder consideration, all year as well. He had an incredible rookie season as well, and I think that these two guys are going to come back, bigger, stronger, and even hungrier. And I think, as you kind of go through and you watch other teams hoist the Stanley Cup, you have no choice but to get motivated. And I believe that, our players and our team will do that. So we're going in the right direction. Can I put a timeline on it? Unfortunately, I can't. But I know we're going in the right direction, and we'll continue to do that. And once again, just like we saw on Unrivaled, winning Stanley Cups, that's the goal here. That's the ultimate goal. And we're going to continue to work and do what we have to do to put our organization back in the mix for that.
The great Kris Draper, incredible stuff, my friend, and so great to catch up with you. Continued success, and man, oh man, thanks for the memories. Incredible.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was appreciate the opportunity. Actually, I think this is, without DMAC, I actually think this is the best interview that we've had. I appreciate the opportunity. So Ryan, from now on, you can run our interviews.
I'm in.
I got you, Drake.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kris.
Thanks, as always.
The great Kris Draper, 4-time Stanley Cup champion and now director of amateur scouting. And I'll tell you what, you keep scouting guys like Mo Seider, we're going to be there faster than anticipated.